Former President Donald Trump is touting support for Israel in two separate events in Washington Thursday. Trump is attending a fighting anti-Semitism event and speaking to the nonprofit Israeli American Council. The former president has expressed full support for what he calls Israel's war on terror. Vice President Kamala Harris has not directly responded to the latest round of fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, but has said she believes Israel has a right to defend itself. Harris has also pushed for a ceasefire in Gaza with the ultimate goal of a two-state solution. CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa joins me now. Robert, good to see you. What are the two candidates' strategies when it comes to addressing the conflict in the Middle East, and how is that going over with voters?
It's great to be with you. It's a fascinating dynamic that's playing out in the presidential campaign because you have in the Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, and in the Republican nominee, former President Donald Trump, some aversion to all of the moves that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is making when it comes to this conflict with Hamas. There's not some kind of wholesale endorsement of every single one of his decisions or policies. At the same time, you see a careful navigation of this complicated issue by both campaigns as they try to present themselves as allies of Israel, but also cognizant of the complications of war. And former President Trump having this event in Washington, D.C. on anti-Semitism, this comes as many Democrats have raised concerns going back years with him about what they believe is his response that was inappropriate to the white supremacist march in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. How he's handled different issues related to the Middle East in the past. So it's not that Trump is countering that directly, but you have him making sure when it comes to support for Israel, he is underscoring his position again and again and his opposition to anti-Semitism with events like that tonight. Is that,
I mean, it is significant he's in D.C. Is that something that he views as politically expedient for him and something he needs to get across by returning to D.C.?
He is meeting with some of the biggest supporters of his campaign in Washington, D.C. And the Adelson family that's part of this event has long been a really keystone group inside the Republican financial apparatus in this country. Sheldon Adelson, the late financier and developer in Las Vegas, his widow, Miriam, now a power player within GOP politics. It's no surprise to see former President Trump continue to nurture that relationship, which has been important for Republicans as they look to build out their campaigning, their super PACs across the country.
Vice President Harris is campaigning with Oprah Thursday. Have these celebrity endorsements made a difference? And can we expect to see more star power join her on the trail as we get closer and closer to Election Day?
Oprah Winfrey's support is no surprise. She has backed Democrats before, but it's about activation for the Democratic base, so Democrats always welcome her. She has such command of her audience going back decades, a lot of respect among millions of Americans who might not necessarily follow her political cues, but take her very seriously on a personal level, on a professional level. And so her involvement is seen as a value plus for the Harris campaign. They're always hoping Oprah will do more, not less, when it comes to presidential politics. But there's not an expectation that she is somehow going to carry a battleground state or be a constant presence on the trail.
We have new reporting about how Governor Walz is preparing for the vice presidential debate against Senator Vance. What can you tell us?
We know that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is preparing with debate prep with Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary. You have Walz really trying to get ready for this national test. He is someone who has been on the national stage. I've interviewed him before here on CBS News 24/7 before. He knows a lot of reporters. He knows people in Washington. He served in the U.S. House. At the same time, this is his first real introduction to the country. And so he has to do two things, as I just discussed with Robbie Mook, the former top advisor to the Clinton 2016 campaign. He needs to, one, help the Harris campaign sell its policies to the country, be a spokesman for the ticket. He also needs to attack Senator Vance and former President Trump and really remind voters of their positions and cast them in a way that's unappealing, that's effective. Not always easy to do in the confines of a debate, but you're going to see Walz try to score some points, even if it's not a major moment in the campaign. The Harris campaign wants him to succeed to a point.
Robert Costa, thank you.